Biden is planning to ban unvaccinated truck drivers from coming into the U.S. Now, many people have been talking about this. This is one of the biggest stories, I think, that really perfectly proves exactly why our shelves are in the situation that we're in, why Biden is called Bare Shelves Biden. It explains everything, the supply chain issues, and the list goes on. But before I get into this story, just a quick reminder to like this video and to subscribe to the channel, as well as it does help me out here. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. As I mentioned, you have Biden now trying to ban truck drivers that are importing, that would normally be importing goods into the United States, and basically saying, you know what, if you don't have the vaccination at all, you are not able to travel into the United States. Now, many of the liberals that are out there have tried to talk about these supply chain issues. We've even heard Biden talking about the supply chain issues. And one of the things that he mentioned oftentimes was that it's not really his fault, that it's someone else's. And liberals are kind of saying, well, what exactly did Biden possibly do that could cause us to have supply chain issues? Well, this would be one of them, right? Because this is literally keeping products from coming into the United States simply because of vaccination requirements. Now, I work in the truck industry. That's my main job is dealing with logistics and everything like that normally. But what you have here is that this hurts us. This hurts our business. It hurts our customers. It hurts the people that are normally going into these situations trying to import goods from wherever they can to keep their business afloat. This stresses the entire industry. Okay, because a lot of our goods are actually imported, not just from trucks, but other things as you see in the story here, where it's talking about these different ports of entry, ferry terminals, so many different ways of transportation are actually being stopped right now simply because of ridiculous vaccines. So the Department of Homeland Security will require that non-U.S. citizens entering into the United States via land ports of entry or ferry terminals along our northern and southern borders be fully vaccinated against COVID-19 and be prepared to show related proof of vaccination. These new restrictions will apply to non-U.S. individuals who are traveling for both essential and non-essential reasons. They will not apply to the U.S. citizens, lawful permanent residents, or U.S. nationals. So basically, this is only for people that are coming into the country importing goods. So it goes on. So they're basically saying that they must do the following: verbally attest to their COVID-19 status, provide proof of a CDC-approved COVID-19 vaccination, which, by the way, changes by the day. Then they must present a valid Western Hemisphere Travel Initiative compliant document, valid passport, things like that, and be prepared also to present any and other related documents, as I'm sure they're going to add to it for border inspection and other things like that. So this is something that is hurting our supply chain. This tells me that Biden doesn't care about whether you get your goods or not, whether our businesses are able to stay afloat, because what he's doing is that he's hamstringing businesses, some more than others, that rely on importing products. And now, as a result of this, you wind up wondering, why is our economy doing so bad? Why are we dealing with these supply chain issues? This is just one of those dominoes that Biden is basically knocking over, causing all of these issues. This isn't some unrelated situation we're dealing with supply chain. You can directly attribute it to things like this. He doesn't care about our economy. You can't care about our economy while trying so hard to go fully into this COVID thing that you're willing to hamstring businesses simply because you want them to take a vaccination at the border. That's absolutely ridiculous that this is even a possibility, that he's even doing this. Meanwhile, you have this inconsistency that has existed this entire time throughout the Biden administration. If you recall, you remember that the immigrants that were in somewhere in South Africa were kept from coming over to the United States because that's where the Omicron variant was. Of course, it got over here anyways because that's how it works. But guess what? Or guess who isn't required to actually get a vaccination whatsoever when crossing the border? You probably guessed it right. Anybody coming through the southern border from Mexico or these other countries surrounding us like that. So you see these inconsistencies and you're wondering what is happening. On the one hand, they're trying to virtue signal by saying we care so much about immigration that we're just going to allow anybody to come into the country as long as they're from Mexico or one of these other countries like that. But if you're from South Africa, you can't do it. If you're, or at least temporarily, I don't know if they've lifted that or not, but if you're coming in importing goods to the United States, that our businesses actually need, then we're also not going to allow that to happen either. How does that make any sense? How do you leverage all of these things? The problem with Biden's administration is that everything it's completely inconsistent because you have certain areas that are completely untouched, certain areas that are gone overboard with certain things, all because he's trying to manage this whole woke agenda with the vaccine at the same time, with trying to pretend like he cares about the economy when it really doesn't. It's just a massive mistake. And obviously Americans agree with that because his approval ratings are terrible. I mean, they're literally through the floor at this point. At the last time I checked, they're in the low 20s. This is horrible. I mean, if this was Trump, the difference would be insane. I mean, people would be talking about this day in and day out. Actually, speaking of approval ratings really quick and just the way he's perceived in the media, this is the Time magazine cover for, I'll actually show the Trump one first. So this is the Time magazine cover for Trump, year one of his presidency, okay? And you see this this cartoonish depiction with his hair on fire, and basically it kind of gives you this idea that everything's gone up in flames, right? That you have this massive catastrophe going on. That is what this basically is. And then on the Biden one, let's take a look at this. Oh, look at that light rain. You know, it's a little cloudy, light rain, as you see, right? And there's these files on his desk, but notice how he's kind of just has his hand out like, wonder what that is, right? The way they're portraying these things are totally different. With Trump, they saw everything as being on fire when actually it was actually doing extremely well. And with Biden, you have them in a time where things are going terribly. I mean, this couldn't be worse for any administration. The way that they perceive it is, oh, look at this cloud. That's all it is. Just a light rain. Nothing to see here, nothing to worry about whatsoever. Just keep on moving about your day and forget about what's actually happening. So that's basically what's going on with this story and why this is absolutely ridiculous. So for the lefties out there, this is why we're dealing with supply chain issues and many other policy things as well with Biden in addition to that. But with that being said, that's all I have for you on this video. I thank you for watching. Once again, remember to like and subscribe to the channel as well, and I'll see you on the next one.